Greetings. You are now tuned into the HittMobb podcast series, where we discuss the art, business, legacies, and lifestyles of music production with your hosts, Daven Vanderpool, known as Prestige, and Paul Hendricks, known as Baby Paul. Let's get to it.
What's going on, world? It's your boy, Baby Paul, a.k.a. BpZy, and I'm here with my brother,
Daven Prestige Vanderpool.
Yes, sir, former the Bad Boy Hitmen production team. What's good, brother?
I'm good, man. What's good with you?
Man, I'm here. I'm blessed to be here. Shout out to the whole team that helped us put this together. Welcome to the HittMobb content series. Man, I feel like as we just getting this unfolded, man, you know, I know we're going to cover a lot of topics.
Yes.
We're going to introduce a couple people you may or may not know.
Of course.
And I feel like right now in today's industry climate is needed. I want to balance what we do here with as education mixed in with entertainment. You know what I mean?
Of course.
We got to take brothers to school, man.
Of course.
It's time, bro.
Yes.
And we're going to do it right here on HittMobb. You know what I'm saying? You know what I want to talk about today, my bro?
What's up?
Missed opportunities.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, man. Missed opportunities. I know in the time I've been in this business, I've missed some major opportunities that a lot of people don't know about, and I'm sure you have too.
Oh, I miss big ones.
Yeah, we got to talk about that, man, for real. So I'm going to start with you. So check this out. All right, you come up in the Bad Boy Hitmen production team in the 90s.
Yeah.
As part of the most impactful time frame for Puff's, career in music. Like that's what made him who he is to this day,
Yes.
to be honest.
Yes.
As far as the hits,
Yeah.
as far as the notoriety, as far as the impact, not just the production of the records y'all did, but the artists that came from it. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? So in the midst of all that you was doing back then, did you have any missed opportunities with any artists, whether it was part of the Bad Boy Records production team or the artist that was signed to Bad Boy or other well-known artists, that was signed externally? Like, I'm sure you came across some people in the midst of all the work you was doing.
Oh, yeah. Man. I was a kid. I didn't know a lot, man.
That's
really,
the
I was
excuse.
young.
That's the excuse. But you're right.
I was young, man.
You're right.
Look,
I feel the same way.
I'm missing some big opportunities, man.
Yeah.
I could have been on X first album, DMX first album.
Wow.
Because we did this record called Usual Suspects.
Right. Yeah, that was fire.
And this was the first time I think that DMX had a commercial release, even though it was a posse record.
Mm-hmm.
The first time the world heard DMX.
Mm-hmm. And
I think commercially.
Right. And since it's a posse record, tell everybody who was on that record with him.
Of course, DMX, Ja Rule, The Lox.
Wow.
Fatal Hussein.
Wow.
Mike Geronimo.
Wow.
And I said Ja Rule?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
but I didn't realize Fatal Hussein was on there. Rest in peace to Fatal Hussein, because I got to work with him, separately before he passed on his first album. But yeah, finish that.
Fatal Hussein. I think there was two different versions of the record. One, Fatal Hussein was on, and the other one was Tragedy. Intelligent Hoodlum.
Oh, okay.
Trage.
I think I've heard that version. I don't remember the Fatal Hussein version. Now you're going to make me want to Google that on YouTube, bro.
But one version came out on Mike Geronimo album, and one was on, I believe, the Rush Hour soundtrack.
Okay. That's what's up. So wait, that was a gold record for you, right? Because wasn't that Rush Hour soundtrack like gold?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yo, man, I can't keep up with all your plaques you didn't acquire over the years, bro.
Oh yeah, man. So man, I can never forget the first time I met DMX. He was chewing on a blade.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he had a blade in his mouth.
He ain't cut his lip or his tongue, pause? That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, I remember I asked him, yo, man, how you gonna come on this record? He said, yo, man, I'm gonna do me.
Right.
I said, all right, man. So, first time I heard him, it was a shock though, because like his delivery and his edge was crazy. And, I was there, I believe we was in the studio, Right Track.
Okay, so it was
where we recorded that
in New York.
Yeah.
It wasn't Yonkers.
Huh?
It was
in New York
City.
New York City.
Yeah.
New York City.
Okay.
And I don't think Irv was there at that time. Irv Gotti. He wasn't there at that time.
Okay.
It was either DLY was there in the session, And the reason why it's a missed opportunity because I met him, and I used to see D all the time.
Now, when you say D, you're not talking about DMX. You're talking about D that runs Rough Riders.
Yeah, D.
Got it.
D.
One of the co-owners of Rough Riders Records. Right?
Yes, D was there. A bad boy all the time. And he asked me if I had something for X. He asked me if I had something for X.
He asked you. It wasn't even like you tried to pitch it to or just didn't take the opportunity to pitch to him. He asked you.
He asked me if I had something for X.
And you didn't follow up?
I gave him a beat, and he said, I think it was a loop. I think it was just shifting gears. The shifting gears loop is off the break beats.
Right.
I gave him that, and he said, I think X got that already. And then from there, I didn't follow through. I didn't make some more beats like an idiot.
Oh man!
I had the lane wide open for me. I didn't walk through the door.
I gotta interject and give you my DMX story. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
All right. So shout out to Dame Grease, Vacant Lot. You know what I'm saying? He was in the studio with X before I knew who X was. I got to shout out. My attorney at that time was Rudy Smith. Rudy Smith was an attorney in the entertainment business who represented myself and a few other clients. But aside from that, he represented Rough Riders. He was a relative of the DNYs that we know of the Rough Riders family. And he represented them also. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was the one who put me on. I was like, yo, X is in the studio working on some music, for Rough Riders fam. You should go up there and play him some beats. So I was like, all right, cool. So that's how I ran into Grease. And I'm in the studio. I didn't meet X directly. I heard him in the booth. And I just heard the growling and whatnot. And
what year was that?
Man, I can't remember. It might have been 97, 98.
That's around the time he came out. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is before that song Niggas Done Started Something came out.
Oh, right.
It was before that.
Yeah, and I love that record too.
Yeah, that was hard. Shout out to Grease.
Hard. Yeah.
But I'm in the studio. I hear him growling in the booth, and I'm vibing. I'm sitting in there, and I'm thinking of the beats I brought, and I'm listening to what Grease is doing. And I was like, I don't think I got nothing for this guy. I'm coming from doing boot camp stuff. I got like some dope hip hop type beats with like jazzy R&B type samples, and I'm like, nah.
and you know what?
You know what I'm saying? So
important.
I hung out for a little while and I left, and I never pursued it after that. And then Niggas Done Started Something came out, followed by Get At Me Dog, and I'm like, wow.
And it's funny you say that because this is what you had to learn this as a producer, right? Not just it wasn't about just doing dope beats. You had to know the feeling of the beats, to cater to the artist. Because you said you had dope beats, but you didn't really
I didn't have enough confidence. I didn't see it.
You didn't see it.
I didn't see him as an artist. I didn't take it seriously because you understand. I'm seeing X before the world knows him as X.
Yeah.
Like in the studio development phase.
Yeah.
And, I'm already like established, on my level at that time with, Duck Down and, Beatminerz and the shit we was doing. So I just didn't take it seriously. I had the beats and I didn't feel totally confident that the ideas I had would be something he would respond to. And because I didn't take him seriously enough as an artist, because I don't even know if he was signed or on the come up yet, I just didn't follow up right away. And then his singles came out and he started blowing up. This is before I think he signed to Def Jam.
Oh.
That's crazy, right?
Well, I didn't know we both missed opportunities.
Yeah, that's why I had to keep it on the subject of X, especially since he's no longer here. Rest in peace, DMX.
Rest in peace.
For sure.
One
for
of a kind.
Absolutely. Like, I watched him grow and blow up and watch his concerts. Like, his impact is undeniable in hip-hop, man. Real talk.
So what are some of your missed opportunities?
Well, I'm going to take another stab at a very well-known artist. Okay. This well-known artist was part of a group out of Jersey who had one of the biggest selling rap albums as a group in the 90s called The Score.
Okay.
And shout out to Evil D when he was a DJ on Hot 97.
All right.
I used to come up to the studio with him sometimes when he was doing his show. And one of these days, this young lady was in the studio and she said hello to us when she came up to the studio. And she said to me, do you guys do any production for other people outside of the people you work with, referring to Boot Camp and Duck Down and all that? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, definitely. You know, she's like, I'd love to hear some music. And I was like, okay, cool. And we exchanged contact information. I never called her.
And who was that person?
That person was Lauryn Hill.
Now I could choke you for that one.
Now check this out. shout out to Salam Remy.
Yeah.
The Nappy Heads remix was out, so I knew who she was.
Yeah.
I can't even say it was an ego thing. I just dropped the ball. There's no excuse. None.
That's a big.
I didn't see.
That's a big.
I didn't foresee the bigness of the Fugees. I heard the Nappy Heads record. I thought it was dope. Shout out to Salam. It was they had something rocking on the DJ shows, the mix shows. You know, Ease up there, DJ, cutting it up, that kind of thing. And that's as far as I looked at it.
Damn, that kind of hurt. You could have been on the second album. And you remember that second album did what? Diamond? No.
Oh, the second Fugees album. Wow. You got a point. And shout out to Diamond D, because Diamond D had a cut on there and he's still eating up for that to this day.
Exactly. And you could have probably make it on to Miseducation too.
Yeah.
You know how this game goes.
Because I know some of the cast that ended up working on Miseducation. So it was like, wow. I don't think when this comes out and my family sees it, they can be like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Because like my family's Jamaican, they're fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know Lauren's music. But yeah, I dropped the ball, bro. That's the definite missed opportunity.
Of course.
Yeah. Shout out to Lauryn Hill.
So another one of mine, I can't really call it a miss. It's still a missed opportunity. Mm-hmm. Man, it was like, I got signed to the Hitmen right when Biggie first album finished. Mm-hmm. Right?
So that was what, like 95? Because it came out in 94, right?
Yeah, I believe 94.
The first Ready to Die came out in 94 by Big.
Yeah, this is about the time I got with Bad Boy, right?
Right.
And I wanted to get on this double album.
Wow.
I wanted badly to get on this double album, right?
Mm-hmm. Life After Death.
Huh?
Life After Death.
Yeah, now, the crazy thing is I didn't know, I knew beats, but at the time I didn't know the feels. Mm-hmm. Because certain artists be in a certain zone. And you got to know how to reach that, reach them with that.
Right.
I didn't know as much as I needed to know at that time.
Right.
So I was giving the beats. It was like, no. It was no.
And looking at that album, I know there's some music you could have really probably placed on there to compete right along with the works of, shout out to D Dot when he did Hypnotize, and because that's the type of stuff you rock with. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Flipping records
like that.
Yeah.
But I gave him a beat, right? He was loving his beat. Mm-hmm. I said, oh, wow. I'm good. I got one on Big. I felt like, whoa, I felt really good, right?
Yeah.
And, he took the beat. I remember putting the tape in his hand. Mm-hmm. So after the album came out, he used the beat for Lil' Kim.
Oh.
And it was Dreams.
Oh, so that.
Yeah, I gave
James Brown.
The James Brown loop.
Yeah.
I gave that to Big. Big was loving that. Mm-hmm. It ended up on Kim's album.
Now that you paint the picture, I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to say this. Now that you paint a picture, that what I'm imagining Big did is he heard it and he probably wrote to it, demoed it, but then he was starting to work with Kim. He's like, you know what? I got to give her a hot record. I'm going to give it to her. And that's what happened. That's what happened.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
man. And shout out to Lil' Kim. Yo, shout out to Kim. Kim laced that record.
Yeah, for sure.
She laced
that's
that
a classic.
record. That's a
You
classic.
see, Nikki did it over.
Huh?
Nikki did it over.
Of course.
Shout out to Rashad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. There's a couple other situations that I came across artists that I could have networked with. We always say that networking is a part of how you get opportunities, even if you are established, even if you are already out there and known. You may just run into someone that you may not always run into every day, and sometimes you got to seize that opportunity. I learned my lesson from years ago to start doing that more.
Yeah.
So that's why I be outside, man. Like, I go to events. I'm into DJing now with my DJ team, Untouchable DJs. Shout out to Hollywood Chuck, one of the top promoters in New York. I try to go out and run into people and network and let them know I'm out here working if they need music. You know what I mean? And you got to do that.
Of course.
If you want to still produce music.
Yes.
You got to do that. But like, I remember running to Mary up at the radio station one day about Hot 97. She was
Mary
with
J.
KC.
Blige?
Yes, she was with KC at the time.
All right.
You know what I mean? And she said hello. She greeted me and E, and you know, because Evil D, like I said before, was on the radio at that time about Hot 97. And I just didn't take it upon myself to initiate conversation. I mean, there was no bodyguards, there's no crowd of people. It's just her in the station with KC. They just up there, you know, making their rounds. So I could have had that one-on-one conversation with no problem, because clearly if I'm up there, I'm somebody.
Yeah, you know that's true.
So you can't, trust me, them stations are guarded, bro. You can't just get up in the station unless you're somebody that needs to be up in the station.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
And I'm sure that's still the case to this day at radio. Like, if I wanted to, I probably couldn't just walk up into the radio station. So, yeah, so, you know, hopefully, you know, with everything Mary's doing these days with her career and the people that I know that's within her team and her network, you know, that might be an opportunity that I could rectify. We'll see.
And another missed opportunity I had, I don't know if this really fits in the category, but
Right.
I'm going to say it anyway. I remember I had an idea, and I came up to the idea, you know, I gave it to Puff. Yo, Puff, I want to do a bad boy anthem. I want to do a bad boy anthem. The beat was crazy. He didn't really pay me no mind, so I went to Big. So I said, Big, man, I want you. I got this idea called a bad boy anthem. I want you to jump on it. He said, yo, Duke, man, you got to ask Puff first, man. So I said,
yo, Puff said.
So you said, like, that kind of like, I don't know if it's a missed opportunity, but I don't know, maybe if I would have kept it going, but I just knew if Biggie jumped on it, everything would have just flowed after that.
Yeah.
And it would.
That you got a point. And I want to do a quick disclaimer on behalf of the entire HittMobb show and the team. You know, we talking about Puff Daddy in the era when he was who he was as a music producer and an executive. We're not going to get into nothing else but his career history as a music producer and an executive when you hear his name on this show.
Oh,
especially considering the history he has with my brother Prestige.
Exactly.
So I just want to put that out there. That's the disclaimer right now.
And and I knew him as Puff Daddy, and I was with the Hitmen from 1995 to 2001.
There you go. So we
that's
just gonna
my
cover
story.
that. We're gonna just make that clear on the HittMobb.
My story stops from there.
Facts.
From 2001, my
Facts.
story stops.
There you go.
So we now in 2024.
Yeah.
2024. You could do the math.
Whole different story.
Exactly.
And we're gonna leave it there.
All right.
But I would say, man, you know, I think another thing that can cause missed opportunities is like, you know, just as creatives, like not staying on top of our game, you know, not being consistent with our work ethic, maybe going through a mood where we don't feel creative, we don't stay on top of technology changes, you know, because some producers go through that, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
They go through where they don't upgrade their equipment or they're not feeling it, so they don't work on some new music parts.
But you know what? I don't know. Like when I used to always do my beats, people always ask me, yo, what equipment you use?
Right.
And I was never into that because it was more about the man over the machine.
Right.
Because I take any equipment, I should be able to get the sound that I want out of it. And, a lot of people have to, a lot of producers have to take that attitude.
Right.
Because, most of the time they think that the machine could do they could do the beat for them.
Right.
That's why they always ask what equipment do you use.
Yeah, like all of a sudden you get a certain beat machine, your beats are just gonna be the best ever. Like,
nah, man,
it's all here and here, from the heart and from the mind.
Exactly. You know? So I don't know if the equipment would have made a difference. You just had to have the ear and the feel for what you was trying to do and how to accomplish it.
Exactly, and most importantly, like be unique. Be competitive, but just have a niche, have your own approach. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think another thing that could lead to missed opportunities is probably, in today's times, especially with the use of technology and social media, like not really branding yourself, not being consistent on how you use the presence of social media All of those play a part. You know what I mean?
And it's funny you mentioned that. At the time, I had a lot of hit records out at the time, and I was saying, why I'm not in magazines? What's going on here, right? So Francesca Sapiro, she was my co-manager with Puff.
Producer manager, okay.
Producer manager, right?
Got it.
So I asked her that. She said, you need to go and hire a publicist.
Wow.
So I said, what's that? So I didn't, remember, I'm still young. I don't know the business like that.
Yeah.
What's a publicist? Oh, someone that can get your name out there, get you into certain places, just someone to publicize your brand. So I went and checked a couple of them, right? And at the time, it was like almost $2,000, $2,500 a month just to get with one.
Yep.
And what do you think I did?
Nothing.
I said $2,500.
Yeah.
$2,500.
And let me tell you something. A A-list level PR firm or individual publicist, probably their retainers is double nowadays.
Of course.
Like $3,500, $4,000 a month.
A month. So, and was it the best decision at the time? No. Because I guess people would have known me more at that time.
Right.
I guess you said the same thing.
I did, and it's funny you bring it back to me because shout out to Theo Saddlemeyer, well-known attorney who represents to this day people like 50 Cent, Eminem. I was one of his clients earlier in his career. He shared a space with shout out to Paul Rosenberg,
all right,
who, co-owner Shady Records, Eminem's manager, all of that. Theo, the attorney, advised me when he was representing me at that time to get a publicist. He suggested that. He was like, you're working, you're getting, some major label placements. Now you need to be more in the media. You need to be more recognized for the work you're doing. He said to hire a publicist, and I ignored him. I didn't even get into the pricing that you did. I didn't even get to that point. I just was like, okay, hire a publicist. I was like,
No, I think
I was just being cheap too, but I didn't even get to the pricing.
You just heard the word hire and just froze.
I was like,
the word hire.
It's bad enough. You got to pay your attorney. You got to pay if you got a manager getting you to work. You got these people cutting into your advances as a producer. Now I'm hiring someone for interviews and magazines. And mind you, this is before social media when I had this conversation. You know what I mean? This was more like physical media, magazines, maybe a TV show, maybe a radio interview back then. He suggested hire a publicist, and I didn't do it.
And I believe you practice your motto right there. And what's your motto?
I ain't spending no money. Yo, I try to, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I try to keep it all money in, bro. Let me tell you something. So let's think about that. We both didn't hire publicists. Now, would you consider that missed opportunities? Because it's not about the creative. Now it's about the business. It's about pushing our presence in the market on a certain level. So that's a missed opportunity, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is.
It is. It is because media presence plays a part. Just like with a recording artist, you don't know who they are unless they're brought out more in the presence of the media for you to hear and see them, for you to decide if you like them as an artist and consume their music. So the same thing with a producer, especially if you're building a brand as a producer, you have to be seen and heard. You know what I'm saying? They gotta put the face with the name.
Of course.
And, I guess we could say better late than never, right? Here we are, HittMobb, people. Hey. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like now it's about, with today's technology, it's a combination of, having different things going on. Whether you're producing music, you're doing media like this, you're DJing like I am. I'm just kind of like spreading my wings and trying to be multifaceted in music outside of a portfolio of doing other things like maybe owning properties or investments or like stocks and all those things. But like, I feel like you can use the social media to your advantage if you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing. But like,
I'm really getting better at it actually.
But me, I'm the worst at it. Still. Like
we had these conversations.
I'm the worst.
We had these conversations.
He always used to get on me with that.
Yeah. Pause.
Yeah, and I was always introverted. I didn't really like, and I guess I think me myself was the missed opportunity because I didn't engage on things that I needed to engage in my career.
Right. But, there's always room for improvement, which is why we're here. You got a lot of good things happening that people are going to know and hear about in the future.
Yes.
I got a lot of good things happening that people are going to know about and hear in the future. So, hindsight's the best teacher.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So,
of course.
I want to say, it's dope that we doing this, and we got so much more things to cover. But I feel like understanding where we are now and being able to explore these conversations like missed opportunities is our reminder, even when we look back at this episode, of what not to do as we push our agenda going forward, right?
That's true.
So
very true.
This is another episode of HittMobb. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. It's your boy BpZy, my big homie Prestige. Thank y'all. God bless. Good night. We see y'all soon.
Thank you.